Hello, everybody. My name's Nathan, Dr. Kirshner, if you want to be formal. Um, Background quickly, I've won a few awards, so stuff like Most Innovative Engineer in Australia, that was cool. Top 10 US or Australian scientist, that was also pretty cool. I founded a few companies, mostly AI, robotics, edge stuff, and professor here and there. So I spent almost a decade in Stanford uh, doing robotics, and now at UTS in Sydney, still doing robotics. Also a partner of venture capitalist firm and a director of Robotics Australia Group, which is why I'm here today. So Robotics Australia Group, just for everyone, is I think similar to the associations. We've just got a different name. Okay, so starting off, there's some pretty amazing stuff going on with humanoid robots. So this is not one of mine. I'm sure you can recognize it. Whether this is a CAN demonstration or not, whether this is live or not, it's not really the point. The point is it's not too far away where we can see things like this happening. We start to see Boston Dynamics, which is quite famous for their video editing, but the robots are also pretty cool as well. And Atlas is doing some pretty amazing stuff these days. And of course, agility robots, so Digit's doing some pretty cool stuff. So there's lots and lots of things going on with robots and lots of things going on with humanoids. So my simple question for everyone is, where are they? Did you see any humanoid robots? Well, you probably saw one today because there's one around here, but normally going through the course of a day, you don't run into them. Definitely in Australia, we don't have very many robots around. You don't see them in service centres, you don't see them in restaurants. So it's actually quite a gap. So why is that? So we look at some of the objectives of something like Industry 5.0, and it has quite a wordy, I would say, mission statement. I would gravitate onto the very last bit, human-centric. I think it's as simple as this. For a long time, we've been maybe focused on functional innovation. Functional innovations where you inject some kind of technology into some kind of business scenario for some kind of process improvement. It's very, very common. Maybe you see it in some manufacturing robots. Definitely industrial robotics was all about functional innovation. We've seen it translate over into process innovation, where we're seeing things like virtual agents, maybe Siri's an easy one to pick on, will help us do some business actions or some interpretation. So things like GPT-4, obviously, that's in this category. We go across to emotional innovation, and we see some stuff, maybe the social robotics. And I think Kelvin's going to show us some social robotics in a second. But you see some items there that are quite impressive and do some very interesting things for some very good purposes. But they're all quite split. We treat them quite separately. Innovation, really, deep innovation's right in the middle. So it's this intersection of this Venn diagram where people, tech and business all meet. And I really think this is what Industry 5.0 is about now. So you would have seen 4.0 come out with the idea of mass customization and more capabilities. 5.0 is really about bringing the people aspect, the human-centric aspect back into it and dragging us back into the middle. In this, I think, brings a really interesting a lesson that I've learnt from trying to get robots out in the wild. The challenge isn't technical. So as much as I'd like it to be, and my PhD is in a technical field, as much as I'd like it to be, very rarely do I see a robot go out into the field and someone say that actuator is not good enough, or that code's not good enough, or Boston Dynamics robot's not good enough. It's normally something a little bit more like, I don't want to be around this thing, I don't want to use it. So that brings me into this concept. So I'm not sure how familiar it is here, so I'll go through it. So technology readiness levels. So the concept here is, it's a basic scale, 1 to 9, 1, 2, 3 and 4 is the world of university. Maybe down 1's fundamental research, so maybe that's you get professor in front of your name if you're doing stuff like that. Maybe towards 4, you get some kind of applied research. Let's skip the valley of death for a second and go up to our products. The world of products is very mature technology. So maybe 8 or 9 items are working very well. Now, if you flash back to those pictures of the humanoid robots I showed you before, some of those are very high TRLs. So the technology is quite ready. You look at it, it's very, very capable. So it's a bit of a question, why aren't we adopting it? Which brings me across to the CRLs, the commercial readiness levels. And this, I think I can push back on the business side. So one of the big reasons, or one of the big learnings I've had from trying to get robots out in the wild is industry, businesses, companies just don't understand commercially how to use them. So they'll start to think, how do I put this in? How does it fit into my workflow? And it will mean they will be ready to do something like a desktop study, perhaps, maybe analysis, maybe a bit of a consideration. Even the small scale trials, they're not quite ready for. They're not ready to think about. The problem for us is it's misattribution. So often a low CRL, a low commercial readiness level, gets confused as a low technology readiness level. So we'll have some technology that's very, very capable and very, very good and does a very amazing job. We'll show it to a business or a company, and because they don't know how to use it, it doesn't fit into their commercial paradigm, it doesn't work in their operations, it doesn't work in their business flow, they just say it's low TRLs, it's low technology, the technology is not ready. I agree with them. It's not ready for use in a business scenario. I don't agree with them, it's the technology's fault. I think it's more about how do we fit it, how do we fit into the business. Unfortunately, the money is in the high CRLs. So that's where the businesses run. That's where businesses do what they do and they generate value, generate money. I see this as a great opportunity for AI. So it's been said before that AI is a great interface technology. And I think that's something that's massively needed. So for our businesses to use it, so non-technical users, maybe the commercial functions, maybe the business functions, the way they want to be able to interact with this technology is going to be like it's a worker through AI, through some kind of perception layer. Jumping on to a pure psychological kind of phenomenon, we have a very interesting default scenario. So when we are looking at the work of let's say a human worker, they might have done a reasonable job. Let's say 7 out of 10, just to give it a number. We tend to focus on the positives. When it's a human, we tend to say, good work. You weren't quite perfect, but you did a lot. You almost got there. In complete contradiction, when a machine does exactly the same level of performance, we focus on the negatives. We focus on, you missed 3 bits. You got 3 things wrong. We don't talk about they got 7 out of 10. We talk about they got 3 mistakes. I think this is very, very interesting because when robotics go into the wild and we're trying to coax people through this CRL, commercial readiness level understanding and appreciation, this tendency, this national phenomenon to dwell on the negatives, so to speak, is quite detrimental because the company will say 1 mistake out of 100 and they'll say, didn't work, it's not good enough. It's very painful. So I think this is quite possibly, I don't know who's agreeing with who, maybe I'm agreeing with Industry 5.0, maybe they're agreeing with me, maybe we both got there independently, whatever, it's all good, right? I think this is quite possibly what needs to happen right now. There needs to be convergence between man and machine. So we need to start to understand, that the way that we want to talk about machines, the way we want to see machines, the way we want to use machines, the way we want to be around machines, has to be the same way we want to talk and be around and work with other humans. It's similar. So this human-centric concept is not just in words. It really is a fundamental necessity where we have to be thinking that the AI we're making, the machines we're making, the humanoids we're making need to be with us. Okay, it's completely undeniable that humanoid robots are coming. It's quite tragic that if we do nothing about them, they will come anyway. So we need to focus, we need to consider, we need to leverage past learnings, and we need to start considering that some of the reasons we've had hiccups in the past are very much overcomable. And it's like it was said before. So the way we look at the change. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Oliver, I'm messing up your quote. The way we look at the change is the change we need to look at, or the way we frame the change is the change. Yes. So the way we consider the problem defines the problem. Yes. Messed that up, Bailey, sorry. Okay. So we need to leverage those past learnings, leverage those understandings, and we need to deliver adoptable capability catalysts, which is probably very fancy English for saying something that actually helps us do the job. Yes, that's it. Thank you.